Hey everyone, Jeremy Knopf here with another episode of the Public Relations Declassified live stream. And today we are going to be talking about two things. One, we're going to be talking about 7 ways to build social proof. And two, we're going to be talking a little bit about the upcoming Dominate Entrepreneurial Summit, which we're hosting here in Clearwater, Florida, as well as virtually. So you can attend either way, either in person or virtually. And so we'll talk about those both. So we're going to go ahead and get started with 7 ways to build social proof. Now, let's talk first a little bit about what is social proof. So social proof is basically a concept that comes from kind of human evolution. There's so much information out there that it's impossible for us to really evaluate every single thing that we encounter. So humans have kind of developed this evolutionary process where we look to other people, right? What do other people say is trustworthy? And, this goes back as far as hell when we were living in caves, right? People would see other people eating certain things, and that gave them the indication that those things were safe to eat. And it applies just as much today in business. So, you've got somebody out there that has no name recognition. Nobody knows who they are. Nobody's worked with them. Nobody's heard of them. People are naturally going to be skeptical of those people. On the other hand, if everybody else is talking about how smart this person is, how capable this person is, then other people will by default trust that person. So obviously we live in very different times than, back when we were still hanging around in caves, but the principles still remain. So the ways that we develop social proof are very different today. So the first way that I'm going to talk about to build social proof is something simple, something that we've all heard of, but most of us are not utilizing this as effectively as we could. And that tactic is reviews. Now, in order for reviews to be effective, ideally, they should live on a third-party review site, something like your Google business profile, reviews on your Facebook page, platforms like Trustpilot or Yelp or things like that. And those are seen as more trustworthy, more authoritative, because you don't have control over those platforms. People can come and post a review, and it's going to go up, whether it's good or bad, and you have no control over it. And so because of that, people tend to trust those reviews more. Now, the key here is to be consistent. I see a lot of people, the majority, frankly, don't really even put much effort into getting reviews in the first place. And that's a huge disadvantage for you. But what we want to do is, as we are working with clients, as we're serving them, we're providing value, we're helping them to win in whatever ways we serve our clients, we want to make sure to get a review from them on as many of the platforms as you use that you can get them, right? So a strategy that I like to use for this is I will ask for a review at a high point. So you just had a major win for a client. For example, when we have a new client that we've just started working with, once we land them their first major media feature, we will typically ask them to go and post a review on our Google profile. They're already on this emotional high. They're happy because now they're featured. That's the perfect time to ask them, both because you've got the momentum, but also it's fresh in their mind. So they're going to remember more of the details, and they're more likely to not only post one, but post one in a way that is going to benefit your prospects. It's going to give them useful information so that when they see it, they're more likely to do business with you, or if it happens to be a journalist, they're more likely to feature you because they're seeing proof that you are smart and capable and that you're the type of expert that they want to be involved with. If it's a client, you're somebody they want to work with. If it's a journalist, you're somebody whose opinions they can trust. Now, I want to emphasize you need to go beyond just a star rating. Like a 5-star rating is awesome, but you need some substantive answers there. You need them to convey the value that they have received from this from a prospect's perspective. So they should talk about how you've simplified the process, how you made it really easy to get those results by working with you. You should talk about the impact, or rather they should talk about the impact that that particular outcome has created for them. Now, another approach that we can take here is video testimonials. Now, I love video over text testimonials because frankly, anybody can put a text testimonial up on their website. And like you guys see this all the time, oh, this is the best company in the world to work with, signed Bill S. That's bullshit. Nobody buys that. If you're not going to put a real review where there's a real person who they can actually go and look up and see that this person exists and it's not just some made up bullshit. And that's why I love video, because it's a real person talking about their experience. You can see their expressions, you can see their personality, and you can see kind of their emotion as they talk about their experience with you. So it's a lot more credible than just putting up a text testimonial. Now, it doesn't have to be fancy. This can be, they just grab their phone and they shoot a quick selfie video talking about their experience. And we want to follow the same principles here, right? We want it to be a value-based testimonial. We want it to talk about how the experience was working with you. We want it to talk about the value that that outcome created for them, the impact that it had for them in their business. And like I said, this is not just for your prospects. It's also for journalists, right? If you're out there pitching the media, or if you've got a publicist pitching the media for you, when they see these, that's going to make them a lot more likely to feature you, because there's all of this evidence that says, yes, this person is a legitimate expert at whatever it is that you do. And then what we want to do is we want to publish them on our website, but we also want to use them in social media. We want to use them in our emails. We want to use them wherever we can so that more people will see it. And this really has a profound impact on your authority status. Okay, social media is another strategy that we want to look at. So social media can be used as social proof. And what I'm looking at here is followers do matter, right? The more followers you have, the more authoritative that you look, the more social proof that this creates. But it's not just about followers, because look, anybody can get a bunch of followers, but if they're not getting any engagement, that says something about what people think about them. So you want as large of a follower count as you can get, but you also want tremendous engagement. You want people liking, commenting on, sharing your posts, and that matters exponentially more. Now, I want to be clear here. Do not use bots. Do not buy fake followers. That is so easy to spot, and it makes you look bad, right? It's inauthentic, and it hurts your credibility. So do not do that. The other thing I want to touch on here is, in your social media, it's not just enough to have a lot of followers, but we also want to have great content that is useful for your audience. And that demonstrates that you know what you're talking about, that you are a legitimate expert. So the more high quality content that you can have that educates people about your industry and about what you do and how you do it, the more authoritative you're going to look, the more social proof that will create for you. And we want to be consistent here. So it's not just a flurry here and a flurry there. You want to be consistently posting, ideally every day. In some cases, maybe several times a day. But the more consistent you are, the more people will see your content and the more likely they will be to engage, which further boosts your social proof for you. All right. And then another strategy that we can use is collaboration. So you want to align with people that your audience already knows, likes, and trusts. Now, this is critical because people who are already authoritative, they're going to vet you before they collaborate with you in any way. Everybody knows that. So if they see you collaborating with somebody that they already know, like, and trust, they're going to make the assumption that you've been vetted and that you are a legitimate expert. So this has a tremendous impact on your social proof, and it helps you to create that authority status. The other cool thing about this is people who want to align with the people that you're collaborating with, your collaboration partners, they're going to essentially use you to try and get on those people's radar. And that sounds kind of mercenary, but in reality, it's good for you because that means they're going to come and comment on your content. They're going to come and like, share, comment on it, all of that in order to try and get on that other person's radar. And that benefits you tremendously, right? The reason that they're doing it is less than authentic, but at the end of the day, it has a huge benefit to you. So absolutely leverage this tactic as well, and it will have a great impact on your social proof. Okay, the next one is awards. So some examples of some awards. You want to look at awards either that are just huge, massive award type programs that everybody knows, or industry specific awards. So some examples are the Inc. Power Partners, which is something that we won with Inc. Magazine a while back. And basically, in that particular case, what they did was they actually interviewed several of our clients about their experience with us. And so this is an annual award that Inc. does. Forbes 40 Under 40 is another one, and there's several from Forbes. You've got the Inc. 5000 as well. So there's a lot of different awards programs that can have a huge effect because, again, these programs are heavily vetted. These are large authoritative organizations that are putting the awards together. And so they're going to dig into you before they consider giving you one of these awards. So when people see that, it says a lot about your credibility. It also creates exposure. So all of these awards, the recipients of the awards are listed on these organizations' websites. So now not only can you say, hey, I received this award because of XYZ, but now other people that go to that website are going to see that award as well, especially the other people who have won that award. So a cool little tangential benefit here is, let's say you won the Inc. Power Partners Award. It's pretty easy to then go reach out to the other people that won it that year and look for collaboration opportunities, right? So now we're using two of these tactics together. So this is a huge one that you absolutely need to take advantage of. Speaking opportunities are another tremendous opportunity. Now, think about it in this context. There's only so many speaking opportunities that exist. It costs a lot of money to put together an event. And when I say speaking opportunities, look, I don't mean, going to speak at 1 million cups or whatever that is, or, your local networking thing. Nobody gives a shit about that. I'm talking about high status events where you're on stage and there's professional photography. Events like this, they're expensive to put together. If you look at some of the events that I speak at, the people that organize these events spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to put the events together. So they have a limited, of course, there's a specific time frame for the event. So they have a limited number of speaking slots. So if you're there, you've been heavily vetted, both in terms of your qualifications and in terms of your speaking ability. So if you're speaking at these events, that says a lot about you, and it creates a lot of social proof for you. Now, you also get alignment with some of these other authority figures, the other folks who are going to be speaking at these events. And that's huge because, again, it gives you the opportunity to do collaboration with some of those folks. So again, all of these things can often tie together in various ways. And then you also get powerful photo and video opportunities from these events. The people that are putting them together, they want people to talk about the event. They want people to promote it so that other people see and hear about it. That means they're going to be recording the event. They've got a high quality crew that's running AV to record the presentations and to shoot photos of the presenters. That stuff can be leveraged in all of your marketing to further boost your authority status. So this is one, and I know a lot of people hate public speaking. They don't want to get up on stage and speak in front of people because they're afraid of maybe not presenting as well as they'd like, or they're nervous just because most people are afraid of public speaking. You need to get over that because this is a game-changing opportunity. And the more that you do it, the better you become. And once you start getting into that cycle of speaking on stages and you get really good at it, other people want you to come speak on their stages. And it just creates this snowball effect for you. So absolutely take advantage of this. it's going to have a huge impact for you. And then, of course, the last one is getting featured in the media. I love this. Obviously, that's the entire focus of my business. So I'm a big fan of publicity. So the same things apply here. Getting featured in the media, everybody who's featured has been heavily vetted. A journalist is going to go look you up, right? And hopefully they're going to see that you've done all these things that I've talked about here in this episode, and they see evidence of your authority status. They see evidence of your expertise. So when they see that, they're far more likely to include you in the article or invite you onto a TV segment or whatever that particular media opportunity may be. The other thing is you've got exposure from this. So if you're going to be in an article or you're going to be on a TV segment, you are being exposed as an expert to their audience. That's huge. And then, of course, on top of that, it gives you an opportunity to demonstrate your expertise. So this is really cool because while they're asking you questions about something related to your industry, you now have the opportunity to share your unique insight. That positions you very differently than everyone else out there because you've got a unique way of approaching things. You've got your own specific strategies and tactics that you use in your industry. So it really gives you a chance to differentiate yourself. And then a lot of times, most of these media opportunities tend to rank in the search results. So if somebody Googles your name, they're going to find your previous media features, whether it's an article, whether it's a TV segment where the video happens to be up on a website somewhere. These things rank in search and people will find them if they're researching you, whether it's a prospect or a journalist. So it's huge. But there's a really fascinating component to this, and that is that it also helps you to show up in the AI tools. So these LLMs that power the AI tools like ChatGPT, Grok, and Perplexity, they are training on the content from media websites. That's where they get a large portion of their training material. So the more that you're featured in the media, the more likely you are to show up in these AI tools if somebody is searching for information about your industry, or even better, specifically asking about you. Now, this is something I actually gave a presentation about just like a week or so ago, where I talked through exactly how to leverage the media to do that. But this is a powerful technique to not only build your social proof and your authority status, but also show up in the AI tools. And frankly, that is essential today. Showing up in the AI tools today is what showing up in Google has been for basically the last 20 years. So it's something you absolutely have to do if you want to remain competitive. All right, so that was 7 ways to build social proof, which then, of course, builds your authority status. That helps you to attract clients, create more opportunities, and make more money. And I think that's something we all are looking for. All right, so we're going to go ahead and roll into Jeremy's PR PSA, and that is that your authority status is never determined by what you tell other people. It's always determined by public perception. And that's why it's so important to leverage these tactics that I've talked about here today to build that authority status. And that steers public perception in your favor. If you just rely on telling them how awesome you are, that is never going to work. You have to leverage this stuff to kind of guide and control public perception about you, both as a company and as a personal brand. It's absolutely critical, and it's something we have to do to stay competitive in today's like absolutely insane marketing world, right? Things are noisier than ever. There's so much information out there. We have to be able to prove that we are someone that is knowledgeable, someone that is capable, and someone that is trustworthy. And that's what social proof does for you. All right, so before we wrap up today, I'm going to talk about the Dominate Entrepreneurial Summit, which I've mentioned on a couple of the previous episodes. This is an event that we are hosting both in person here in Clearwater, Florida, as well as virtually. We are bringing together 9 of the top entrepreneurs in the country to basically share their knowledge and insight based on their own firsthand experience and what they've achieved and overcome in their entrepreneurial journeys. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the page for this so you guys can get kind of a sense of what's going on here. And we are also going to, well, if you take a look at that QR code up in the corner here, that is the registration code. I'm going to, it's not on our next screen here. I'll have to pull it back up, or we'll come back to this page in a minute. But I'll also have Chrissy drop the registration link in the comments here. Chrissy, if you can go ahead and take care of that for me, just drop the Dominate link in there when you get a sec, please. All right, so I'm going to pull this page up real quick here for you guys. Let's take a peek at this. So this is the registration page for the Dominate Entrepreneurial Summit. And I'll let you guys read that stuff if you want to go to the page and check that out. But like I said, October 14th, we're going to start at 11:30 for the in-person attendees. We'll have a little bit of networking before the event. And then we are going to roll into the Public Relations Branding and Marketing panel, which will be hosted by myself, my good friend Trish Lito, and Remzo Martinez, two absolute rock stars, great friends of mine. Also, both U.S. military veterans, if that kind of thing matters to you. Trish is kind of a social media expert, and she's built some really cool processes for leveraging social media using video, particularly doing reels and stuff like that on Instagram and TikTok, Facebook, all that stuff. And basically has built just a really cool blueprint for getting the most out of it, but not just creating engagement, but more importantly, turning that into revenue. So definitely want to hear what she has to say. And Remzo is a fractional CMO. And what he does is he comes into an organization that's trying to grow, and he will help them to basically manage all of the various experts that you would need on your marketing team. I kind of look at him as like the general coordinating all the units. Marketing today is pretty complex, and there's a lot of facets to it. So, you might need a Facebook ads expert. You might need a social media expert, a public relations expert, an SEO expert. Like, you need all these different things. He's the guy that comes in, oversees all of that, and then acts as a single point of contact to the business owner so that they can do everything they need to do without becoming overwhelmed. Super smart guy, one of my favorite people. Him and Trish are absolute rock stars. You're going to love what they have to share during the panel. Then we're going to have the Leveraging Artificial Intelligence panel. Now, we've got three absolute beasts when it comes to AI here. Francis Ablola, great guy. He runs an AI group. Every time as we've been promoting the event, every time I put something out there, I have to go and double check his Facebook group, because it's grown by a few thousand people each time. I think he's at like 48,000, 49,000 last time I checked. But they have so much training and education in their group. And I've learned a ton from Francis about how to leverage AI in my own business. And he's one of the people I turn to when I have questions. One of the smartest guys you'll ever meet, and just a damn good human on top of that. And then we've got Bob McIntosh, another of my favorite people. This guy, I like to call him the Jolly Red Giant. One of the few people that's taller than me, but he started off as a cybersecurity expert. Banks actually used to pay him to try and break into their systems, right? Super, super smart guy, full stack marketer, but he's been leveraging AI to help businesses get more done on the back end. And, he's got some really cool insight, some really cool approaches to things. You guys are going to learn a ton from him. And then Adam Peters, fellow veteran. I met him recently at another event, and super cool guy who has basically built this entire workflow that does lead generation, where it will actually go out and prospect for you, find the right prospects, then go and find all the contact information, reach out to them. And like, you basically don't touch it, right? It just handles everything on its own. So these guys are going to share a ton about AI, show you what can be done, show you how to get the most out of AI. Not doing the dumb shit that most people do with AI, but really using it in a way that moves the needle from a business perspective. And then we've got, let's see, I lost my mouse cursor here. There we go. And then we've got mindset, resilience, and overcoming adversity. Now, Bridget Bello, another good friend of mine. I have known her for probably 20 years at this point. I first met her when she was at a particular media outlet, which we will not name, but she came into that role shortly after, but right about the time that the 2008 housing crisis started. And revenue at that media outlet plummeted through no fault of hers, right? It was just the industry. Real estate and construction had plummeted, and that was where about 90% of that media outlet's revenue came from. So she managed to turn that around and grew that company back to pre-crisis revenue faster than any other media outlet in the entire country. So absolute genius when it comes to overcoming challenges. And then after that, she went on to start her own media outlet and has continued to grow it at a time when so many other media outlets are going out of business. So she has been through the ringer on so many things, and her mindset has just got her through that and helped her to continue delivering great results. David Bell, another old friend of mine. We've worked together for 20 years, and he had kind of a similar situation as Bridget, where he had come in as the director of marketing at a particular company. And within like 2 months of him starting that role, the company basically imploded because of some things that the CEO had done. And so essentially, he had to then turn the company around. They ended up in an absolute firestorm. Revenue, well, at the time, the company was the fastest growing franchise in the entire country. Everything plummeted. Their revenue went down to like $300,000 a year. So he managed to turn it around. They were dealing with all kinds of legal challenges. They had 19 franchisees walk away, try to organize a class action lawsuit. They all collaborated online to try and defame the company and run it out of business. He managed to turn everything around, and in just a few years' time, had the company back up to over $8 million in revenue. Hell of a success story. Lots of insight from David as far as how to get through this adversity and make things a hell of a lot better. And then my friend Tatiana Zagorski is a real estate investor who initially she was a software developer. She's an immigrant. She came over here, got involved in real estate investing. And on her first deal, she got sucked into a deal with a con artist who ripped her off for about $120K. Most people would have given up and just walked away and went back to the old 9-to-5. She managed to learn a lot from that, came back even stronger, got with the right people, got really good mentorship, and got things back on track. But she stayed strong throughout the whole thing. And not only has she since then become a very noted investor, and she's constantly cited in the media for her expertise, but she's also in the process of exposing the woman who conned her and several other investors as well. So hell of a story there. You guys are going to learn a ton from these folks. There's a lot of information here that you guys can benefit from, because mindset is so critical to running a business. And then we close out the event with another round of networking. The way I look at it is, once you've had a chance to hear what everybody says, you're going to see a lot more opportunities. There's going to be a lot more networking with intentionality at that point. And then as far as your options for attending, we've got 3 different ways to go. You can attend in person. The cost for that is $97. You get exclusive in-studio access here in Clearwater, Florida. You also have all of the networking with the speakers and the other attendees. You're going to get copies of video files from all of the presentations. You're going to get a list of all resources, tools, and platforms that are mentioned by the speakers throughout the event. And then also a collection of valuable resources, guides, workbooks, things like that, provided by the speakers. This is a lot of information that you're going to be able to use to implement in your business and get exponentially better results. If you can't make it in person, you can attend virtually, and that is going to be $27. You get all of the benefits that you have from the VIP in person. The only difference is you don't get the in-studio access. You don't get the networking because you're virtual. You're not going to be there. And then, of course, if you want to attend for free, you can do that. And then at that point, all that you'll get is just the live stream access. So that's it in a nutshell, guys. Check it out. If you want to register, everything's there. But that's it in a nutshell. So if that's something you guys want to do, definitely I encourage you guys to register. This is going to be on October 14th. On the in-person side of things, we do have limited seating. So definitely grab that sooner rather than later if you're considering it, because we only have so much space available for that. But definitely register. At the very least, register virtually. You're going to get a ton from this. And we will be having more of these events in the future. I've got another one planned for Q1 of next year. But check that out. And I look forward to seeing you guys there. All right, so that's going to be a wrap for today, guys. I hope you guys found value in this. I would love it if you'd share this with somebody. And if you're not already in the group, hit that QR code, join the community. That's our free Facebook group. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode. Thanks, everyone.